I recall long ago in these buried lands, the men that hunted in these mountains used to mention the story of a hunter. Men like us, hunters, seeking deer of the season, lay in the dark woods in search of their meal. The cold breeze of the winter swept through the landscape, echoing an eerie sound, a howl of wind. Their every step was cautious. Too loud a step would reveal them to their prey. As they inched nearer toward the beasts of the wild, tension grew, ticking and ticking and ticking. The dainty steps of their hooves, along with the twinkling branches, peppered the atmosphere. When the time was right, these hunters were ready to strike. They carefully aimed their rifles, but just before they fired, the game would dash away, leaving them with nothing. These hunters were amateurs, and their every mistake only lengthened the days without food on the table. They grew restless, training to hunt but lacking the drive to complete their mission. As the hunger in their stomachs grew, so did their agitation. Their families depended on their hunt. The days passed. They seemed to be getting closer to killing the deer they fruitlessly sought. But it wasn't enough. They were learning, yes, but the lack of returns started convincing them that they may not be able to make it through the winter. They thought of their wives and children, all frail from hunger, their gaze yearning for a meal. Straying away from their settlement, in one early morning, they gave it their all. As they reached the deepest, most dangerous part of the wood, they knew this was their only chance to finally taste success. In a few moments, the howling breeze grew stronger, but they persisted in their mission. A few steps further, the wind rose to acknowledge the real danger, the growing blizzard around them. Minds clouded by hunger, they disregarded the howling wind, which was now consuming them. Snowflakes collided in an aerial spectacle. Their distress quickly grew. They ran for their lives towards a dark spot at the corner of a creek, a cave, where they lay for the night. The horrifying screams of the forest tormented them in their sleep. When they woke, the blizzard was still rampaging outside, and they grew more uneasy. As the days went by, the men grew feeble and ravenous. They began thinking of other, more intrusive ideas, and at last, their hunger overpowered them. After weeks of persistent famine, one hunter turned on his fellow man, resorting to consuming his flesh, and as he tore into his body, consumed his organs, and devoured his heart, his whole body transformed into a beast, the Wendigo, a skeletal monster, a starving abomination, erupting in a mania of pure destruction. The beast is incredibly tall, growing larger the more it eats, with sunken eyes and sharp yellow fangs and claws. Consuming its own lips, its mouth is a sunken, gaping horror. He bears antlers like a deer, the very deer he was unable to feast upon. A stench of rotting flesh surrounds him. With keen eyesight, he employs his superior speed to stalk his victims. The legend goes that he lies in these buried woods, aiming to devour all the human flesh in his wake. But that's enough for now. We should probably get some rest.